Scrolling through my local Facebook groups one day, I came across this post by Emily. She needed 3 bikes fixing and was hoping someone could help her out, as she just didn't quite have the funds to do that at this stage. And I get it. 3 bikes times probably $100 each for a basic service, that adds up pretty quickly. So I messaged her, and a couple of days later I met up, we had a good chat, and I ended up taking the 3 bikes home. So this is that story. We're going to be focusing on Emily's bike today, and we'll knock out the other 2 in a later episode. But for now, let's get stuck into these bikes. Mum's bike up in the stand first off, and truly this is the first real look I've had at it, and it's not great, let's be honest, but it's not terrible either. I'm purely saying that because it doesn't look like it's had much use. We've got the original tyres and they're in pretty good nick, but both tubes are flat, punctured or not sure. Surface corrosion everywhere, so that very much speaks to me that it's just been left outside. Bird poo is also a dead giveaway. So rust everywhere. I did check the chain just off camera and not even 0.75, so really this has had no use. So I'm hoping this is a fairly easy start to the project. We've got 3 bikes to do. We're going to get stuck into this one. We're not going to do a full restoration, a full strip down like I'd usually do. This is getting 3 bikes back on the road and getting this family out riding again without breaking the bank. Because to be honest, these bikes just aren't worth it. So let's see what we can do. Whenever I do a service like this, I like to start by pumping the tyres. It lets me know that they can at least hold air, and because they're pumped for the duration of the service and the test ride, I can be pretty confident they're going to do their job. Then I'll move on to a basic wash just to get rid of all that crusty crud and bird poo, so we can sort of see what's going on and find any other potential issues, I guess, because you're getting really hands-on and having a good look over. Gonna make sure that we wash this down properly and also dry it off nicely too. We don't want it rusting anymore. Now, one of the main problems with this bike was just the brakes were super grindy. They were very sticky and stiff. So in this case, it was definitely a cable issue, but also just a lack of lubrication. So we swap out the full cable and outers to the back. Also, obviously, surface rust everywhere on this bike. It's obviously not the best, but we'll do our best to clean it off. The part that's actually going into the fork isn't really affected, which is good. And then we're doing some cleaning on the handlebars as well, just some general cleanup. Pretty classy way to drop the tyre there. Definitely meant to do that. Definitely a bit of a sticky issue with the front brakes too, so I ripped them all apart, gave them a lube. This is a very condensed version. It's also not the style of video I've been doing lately. It's a lot more condensed. I skipped through a lot of stuff because we are just really trying to do the bare bones to keep this on the road, keep it safe, but also get it back to a really good working shape. So a bit of grease, slap them back on, they're as good as new. Grease is the magic word today. Grease the crap out of everything. Bit of marine grease, bearing grease on the shaft, and then a bit of copper anti-seize so the nut comes off and on easily in the future. Back on we go. And these wheels were actually spinning really true. I did chuck them on the truer, but did not need anything. These front brakes were definitely a case of sticky like pivots, so the grease helped a lot. The cable was fine, it was just way too long. And I did slap a little bit of lube on the cable, but all in all just a basic tidy up, and that brake was feeling a lot better. Getting a bit of rust off with the old wire feel here. It's amazing what just getting a little bit of surface rust, getting rid of it, and a little bit of polish just makes the bike look so much better. Just more presentable. Feel a bit less self-conscious when you're riding it too. So you can see there, everything's back on the back wheel anyway. I'm putting new cables in here for the rear brake and new outers. But you will see that even though it was shifting okay, I did decide to take off that rear derailleur and chain and gave it a proper clean. New noodle there, as the other one was completely rusted out, also causing a bit of seizing. So basically it's had everything but the lever replaced and the hardware, of course. So a bit of an adjustment to the pad position, but all in all, that thing feels like brand new again for not very much money. Cables and outers, all of which I've got lying around, so easy. So here I absolutely jumped the gun. I lube up this old chain, and like I said, it was shifting fairly nicely, but it was sticking in a few locations. I think I should have just done this to start with, but I pulled the chain off, pulled the derailleur off, I've stripped it all apart, and in it goes the ultrasonic cleaner with the chain as well. 15-20 minutes later, pull it out. I always love how things come out of the ultrasonic. They just look magic for having physically done very little work. They look incredible. So take them out. I don't show this, but I always rinse them off in like a soapy water and then blow the crap out of them to make sure they're 100% dry and have no degreaser left on them. This thing literally is wizardry, and that's a very cheap one that I bought, but it does such a good job. I use Simple Green degreaser in there, if anyone's wondering, diluted with water. Works a treat. There we go, we're putting it all back together, getting a bit of bearing grease into the spring there, bit on the jockey wheels. Try not to go too nuts with this because you don't want it filling up with dirt, but it just does keep everything nice and moist, which we like, and running smoothly. But this thing literally had no use to it. It's just literally a bit dirty, a bit sticky. And there we go, there's the cable adjuster. I always put copper grease on the threads, a bit of bearing grease up at the top, and just make sure that thing doesn't corrode, because it's amazing how often those things get seized. So just a couple of little bits of grease and that thing will be as good as new for years to come. I saw that on another channel, Bike Speeds. They got me onto doing that, so I've done it ever since, and worth its weight in gold. Here we go as well. So yeah, that's right, the outers I believe were okay, but the cable itself, just the very end of it, was too short to take any more adjustment once I pulled it out of the derailleur. So we put a new gear cable inner all the way to the back to that rear derailleur, but the outers were absolutely fine. The derailleur is as good as new now, all lubricated, running beautifully. So a quick adjustment and that thing was working like brand new again.
Bike 1 is done, and considering we didn't put too much into it, we didn't go crazy and do a full restoration, it's come up really nice. We've got rid of the rust on the stanchions. Sure, they're a little bit pitted, but they'll be okay for the light sort of use it's going to get. We changed a few cables. We've lubed up pretty much everything. We've cleaned the chain. And that's about it, really. It hasn't had too much work to it, but it's riding really nice right now. Everything's in actual usable shape, so I'm pretty happy with, for a fairly minimal amount of effort, we've got a pretty good riding bike. So on to the next one.
I'd like to say thank you so much for watching. A thumbs up and a subscribe are very appreciated, and if you'd like to support what I do, you can head over to 9livesrides.com or my Buy Me a Coffee page, links in the description below. I really enjoy being able to help others out, and your support makes this possible. Bye for now, and safe riding.